is Monday, November the 15th, 2021. I am James. You are you. We are here live on twitch.tv/ of course, At Home with James. Hope that you're enjoying the start of your week. How was your weekend? Was it lovely? Did you enjoy it? Did you spend it with someone you love? Someone that you cherish? I hope so. Because now you're going to begin your week spending it with me. I'll tell you what, I love you and I cherish you. Now, I wanted to try something different for the introduction today. Prior to getting on the air, I was listening to Delilah, which is a syndicated radio talk show. And she started her show off by asking her listeners if they spent the weekend with someone they loved. And as I was putting together my little home studio, in my brain, as she asked that question, I said to myself, I didn't, but I hope you did. And I hope you spend it with many people that you love and you cherish. Because this show, as I've mentioned time and time and time again over the past year and change, this show is like a child to me, and we love our children. This show is like a friend to me. I love my friends. And this show is like a lover to me. And of course, we love our lovers, don't we? Me and this show, it's like we're having a torrid affair, right? It's very tumultuous. There's ups and there's downs and there's lefts and there's rights and there's sides. Sometimes we don't get along. Sometimes it's fiery and it's feisty and it's unpredictable. But sometimes it just feels so right and it feels so nice. And I have a suspicion that tonight's show is going to feel awfully nice. Why? Well, tonight we've got a doctor in cool who is stopping by. She's been here before. She's back again. She's wearing sunglasses. Cathy Fagan is here live on location from outside a deserted Zellers, Canada's coolest store. They don't exist anymore, but Cathy is so cool that she has found a Zellers. Now, what does Cathy do when she's here? She tells us everything that is cool, all the way to really cool, all the way down to very cool. It's also Mailbag Monday. And you know, when it's Mailbag Monday, you can't have a Mailbag Monday without my co-conspirator, someone who is an expert in understanding the at-home audience, the at-home fan base, the at-home viewers. So we are going to be answering your questions with the help of the one and only Mr. Dimitri Kyres. Dimitri, how are you? Did you spend the weekend with someone that you love?
I did.
Who?
My girlfriend.
What's it like?
To be in love?
Yeah, tell me.
It's nice to be able to talk to somebody without putting on an act. It's nice to just be completely yourself with somebody.
Well, sometimes when you meet someone for the first time, maybe a romantic prospect, there's a bit of an act, don't you think? You were probably really putting on the Ritz, right? Doing all your best bits.
No question. Yeah, you want to put on your best version of yourself when in reality your best version is your most truthful self, right?
Here's the deal, Dimitri. This is why I'm alone. I don't fake it. I am what I am. You take it or you leave it. I'm like when you see brains at the grocery store in the meat section. We know not a lot of people.
What fucking grocery store are you going to?
Not a lot of people are buying brains, right? But there's a couple people that do. And a bunch of people are like, well, yeah, I'm not going to eat brains. I don't want to eat brains.
Nobody wants it. Who's eating brains?
I am to...
You're doing yourself a disservice.
I am to the romantic market as brains are to a meat market. I'm an acquired taste. That's why people, they put on their best behavior when they meet someone special that they're hot to trot for.
No.
Not me.
No, you're not. No, you're not brains.
People give them the best of themselves. I tell you what, I give the worst. I go, if you can handle this, you can handle anything, lady.
If I may make an amendment?
You may.
Not brains. I'd go so far as to say you're the liver of the meat aisle.
Oh, so dating me is like having a mouthful of iron.
You know what? You could look at it that way, and sure, it's an acquired taste, James, but at the end of the day, liver is a very, very good organ for you. It's rich in iron. Sure, you might want to put it in a milk bath beforehand so you could blanch it to get rid of that iron taste. But boy, when that thing comes out and you give it a nice fry in some breadcrumbs.
This is why I appreciate you, Dimitri. This is why there's so much appreciation from me to you, because over here I'm saying I'm like brains, I'm like liver, but you look at me, you're calling me liver, and you're saying this is what we got to do for James. We got to give him a milk bath to make him presentable for the potential romantic prospects. Now, Dimitri, look, I'm springing this conversation on you because I was so taken aback by that question when I was listening to Delilah of, did you spend the weekend with someone you love? I came up with an idea the other day. Could you imagine a dating application that is only functional from November 1st up until about December 20th, and it's specifically for people who want to meet someone else for the holidays, right? We determined last year that the holidays, not sexy, but romantic. Could you imagine a dating app where it's like, I don't want to be alone at Christmas. I want to be with another person who's feeling that they're longing for connection. Someone who could answer the question, yeah, I did spend the weekend with someone I loved. I mean, think about that idea.
That's a great idea. Honestly, that's a really, really brilliant idea because, obviously the holidays are a very lonely time for some. And hell, even for people who are in relationships, it could be a lonely time. You're away from your family. You're snowed in at a chalet with your boss. All the scenarios, and
your dad's in jail, maybe.
Your dad's in jail, and the prison's snowed in. It's every scenario. And so having an app like that, and honestly, being able to bring someone home for the holidays.
Yeah.
You know how much hell you get from your mother-in-law. And
and here's the thing, people they get on the dating app. I've never been on one in my life. I don't know about the Tinder, the Hinge.
You know all the names, but you've never been on one before.
I know the names. I don't know the game. And I thought, a Christmas one really it cuts the crap. And I don't want to swear on this program, but it cuts the crap.
It cuts the crap. Yeah, and it gets straight to meat and potatoes. And I mean, like, what would be the front-facing like copy on an app like this? Like are you saying like this isn't permanent? This is we know what this is.
I know. I want to say this is basically for you to have your Hallmark movie moment. So many people meet in these movies, and it'll be like a year later, and they're having Christmas with their families and all that other. And I don't want to swear on this thing, but all that other crap. And excuse me.
It's okay.
That's what I'm imagining for this. I was talking about this with Ariel DeRue, friend of the show, who actually declined an invitation to be on tonight. And then also some of my improv students. That's right. I talk about dating apps with my students.
It's good the show isn't recorded. I think that I think that's a great idea, though, honestly, for an app. And I particularly like that you can try to capture your own Hallmark holiday miracle. And it almost leads me to a potential name here where you call it My Holiday Miracle.
Oh, My Holiday Miracle. Now, I was thinking maybe the name Mistletoe.
Oh, that's a... Yeah, mine makes it sound like...
Yours makes it sound like a Make-A-Wish kid who doesn't have time left.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not so much romantic. Mistletoe is a way better name.
Yeah, it's not a bad name. It's a little cheeky, right? On these dating apps, I understand that people are getting on there and, they want to, look, I'll say this, and I don't want to swear on this program. They want to cut the crap and they want to get into it. I think a lot of people who get on those things, they're looking to F. I think they're looking to F.
People are looking to F on dating apps?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I understand.
Certainly. And I've been out of the game for, I haven't been on one in a
you were spending
long time.
With someone that you love.
Well, exactly. Yeah. But no, that is the point. But there's something really magical. This is what I like about this, is that all these dating apps are very sleazy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this
one's not sleazy.
It's very classy.
The sleazy people, I think they would look at it and they think it's too sweet and charming. They take their sleazy backsides and they'd get back in
slither away.
Gutter.
Yeah, slither back into the gutter. And I like that. I like that it creates almost a natural kind of. And now let me ask you something. I know that sometimes these apps, they have almost like a so for example, there's like a cheeky little, like sometimes only one person can message the other, and then that doesn't open the kind of like comment section. I think one of those apps has something like that. What makes Mistletoe so special other than like that? it will automatically delete your number after December 1st on both of the phones.
Well, maybe this is what it is that for the people that signed up pre the closure date, they get to stay on. But if you're a new user, it's like, no, you had your chance. Get back to Bumble.
You get back with the others, basically.
Yeah.
You missed your
well, and that's a good question. This gives me something to work on because I think it's a pretty good idea.
I actually think this is a very good idea. And I would go so far as to say all ideas that are spoken about here on At Home with James are the property of James McGee.
If someone sold this idea, I'd find him and it wouldn't be pretty, you know. I'd bring it. I'd bring a blunt object
to smoke. Listen, I think this is a really good idea. And honestly, I would keep that name Mistletoe too, because it's very clever.
And if we can be cheeky with it, right? Where it's like, maybe there's different degrees of what you're looking for at the holidays, and maybe there's one for hookups, as the kids call it. Maybe it's like where being naughty is nice.
Whoa.
So we know that Andy Asaf would be veering towards that portion of the app.
No question. Yeah, he would. He would flock to one half of the app. Yeah, I mean, he'd be your first guy on the app. My question though for you though is just because I'm really piqued by this. Would you have like a built-in that it sends you somewhere on a first date, like a small town in Quebec?
Oh, see, that's a great idea. Maybe there's almost like suggested first dates, because this thing, if you're on it, you're talking to another, as I call them, a Christmas creature.
That's what you call them? We're gonna have to work on that name.
Maybe it would be like, oh, we're gonna send you to the Le Village de Noël at the Atwater Market, right?
Yeah.
Look, and I'd say this, I would download this. I would use this app.
You would use this app?
I would use it. I would say I stand by my product so much though, so that I'd be to this app what Tom was to MySpace.
Okay. Yeah. So it's almost like it's having your own little Christmas miracle yourself if you see James McGee on the app as you're swiping.
Now this also sounds like the premise of a Hallmark movie where this guy creates the app, and he's like, maybe he's a little battered by Christmas. He's looking at it for like, no, this is going to be a great technological discovery.
Yeah. And
he ends up finding someone on his own app. This is also a Hallmark movie now. And it would be called, and it's in the chat right now, Thomas Barnwell writes, My Mistletoe Miracle. That would be the name of the movie if this app was part of a movie.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, and then basically he's got to go to this small town, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? For this one-off date.
Yeah, well, this is a nice little segue before we get into some of our letters. A lot of times people like to go to tree lightings in a small town. A week from tonight, you do not even have to leave the comfort of your own home. Right here, 1 week from tonight, as I mentioned only seconds ago, it's going to be the 2021 edition of the at-home tree lighting, where I light my very own Christmas tree live on the air. Now, last year was spectacular. Dimitri, you performed your new Christmas song, quote, I Want Christmas for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a beautiful event.
The creatures loved it.
Yeah, the holiday creatures came out of their...
Christmas creatures.
The Christmas creatures, my apologies. The Christmas creatures came out of their holes and danced around the tree, and it was a real joyous occasion. I had a great time. Thank you for allowing me to perform.
I think it was really appropriate because, at the time it was like, oh, I want Christmas for Christmas. That's funny. Mm-hmm. But let's face it. I spent Christmas at home alone.
Is it too early to talk about Christmas?
I'll just say this. We've been talking about a Christmas app. I spent it home alone, and not like Kevin McAllister in the movie. I spent it alone. I was with my family on a Facebook video conference call.
That's nice.
And this year, I do want Christmas for Christmas. Because I think things are back in the groove of things to the best of our ability. So A week from tonight, we're back with another at-home tree lighting. I couldn't be more excited.
I'm excited for a full-on Christmas. I feel like we got the tofurkey version of Christmas last Christmas and the Christmas before that. So
you're putting it lightly. A tofurkey Christmas? Well, it would have been great last year. You know what we had? We were eating cigarette butts for Christmas. That was our dinner.
Come on.
It was a cigarette butt stuffing. It was pieces of stale bread cigarette butts.
The Andy special.
On that note, we're gonna go to some of our Mailbag Monday questions.
Ooh,
Dipping into
boy.
Dimitri, you're in our studio's mailroom right now. It's overflowing.
It's Mailbag Monday, baby. Do you see this behind me? What's wrong,
Yep.
James? You okay? We are inundated with calls, with mail, the mail version of calls. Tons of them behind us right here. As you can see behind me.
Yeah, people are trying to call. The phone lines are open. We're not taking calls tonight.
Our boxes are full. I keep having to go and get new. I have to get new receivers to register the calls, to source, and they're all out.
And well, and this is the thing, we're overflowing with letters and mail and questions, but we've only got time for 8 questions tonight.
That's all you get.
Yeah.
Is 8 questions. So I had to painstakingly filter through this room, and we've got 8 questions, and that's the best we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. We've never been hotter, James.
Well, Dimitri, I've got our first question from the mailroom now. You ready to hear about this one?
Let's hear it.
All right, here we go. Well, this question comes in from Colleen Crane.
Hey, Colleen.
And she's writing from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island.
Oh, big fan of PEI. Big fan.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see that our show is becoming multi-provincial here with our fan base, the ever-growing audience that is. So,
hey, Colleen.
Colleen writes, "Hi, Dimitri and James. To begin, I have to say that I wasn't much of a social internet user until I stumbled on your show. My daughter Heather watches your little program, and I have to say, I'm hooked, LOL. Sometimes I wish that my daughter could meet an upstanding gentleman like Dimitri. Don't worry, James. You can walk our dogs, LOL." All right, well, Dimitri, unfortunately, Colleen, Dimitri's taken. He was spending the weekend with someone that he loved.
Yeah.
But I'm available to walk your dogs. Colleen goes on to write, "The reason I am sending this internet message is because the holidays are coming up, and it's perfect that I've got both of you here. On a previous edition of the internet show, I heard James mention that Dimitri had, quote, an awful Christmas tree a couple years back. I just can't believe that could be true. What happened, you two? Spill the tea." That comes from Colleen in PEI. So, Dimitri, well, I know what happened. You said, is it too early to talk about Christmas? Well, right now you're being exposed for having what I believe to be the worst Christmas tree I've ever seen in someone's home.
It is the worst.
Disgusting.
Yeah. I wish I could yank a picture of it real quick, but yeah, it was the worst Christmas tree on the planet. It was a hand-me-down Christmas tree. It was not green. It was silver
And very thin.
and it was pencil thin.
It was like meant to be. That was like a Kardashian Christmas tree. What one of the Kardashian siblings would put in their house on their reality series. It was garbage.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? Having it in my home wasn't the worst thing. I think the worst thing was watching how disgusted you were with it in general.
Yeah.
When I
So
put it up.
why don't you walk us through that from your perspective?
Yeah, so I remember, I don't know if I showed you a picture first that you came over, but I think you came over first. And I remember you walking in and you audibly just went, "Oh," as you gazed upon this pencil thin.
Yeah, almost
silver
if someone
tree.
walked into a public restroom and the smell of feces were very present.
That's exactly. Yeah, you feel like you got hit with a wall of shit. And you look like you were just looking at somebody defecating themselves. Was pretty much the same kind of visual there for this tree, which I thought was a bit of a over-exaggerated kind of reaction to it. But upon further reflection, because I did sit with it for a full other holiday season afterwards, It's a pretty pathetic tree. Everything about it screamed sadness. And in fact, there's a picture of it somewhere where I'm just kind of kneeling next to it because eventually it snapped at the top. So not only was it pencil thin and silver, but it also snapped at the tip and kind of bent over. And
Yeah, well, and what was the fate of that tree? Where did it go?
it went immediately into the trash.
Yeah, right where it belongs.
Yeah, I think I took a picture of it in the trash and sent it to you. It was just kind of comically still had ornaments on it and just thrown on top of pure rotting garbage on the corner of the street.
And I think it's one of those things that sometimes it's hard to say goodbye to problems in our lives because we're so comfortable with them, but then eventually you walk away from it and you know that you're better off for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way of putting it. It takes your friend to walk into your apartment and react as though he was seeing shit and smelling shit to kind of make you realize that you need to make a change in your life. So for that, I thank you, James.
Well, there's the story, Colleen. It is true, and Dimitri's he's making great strides. He's on the hunt for a new tree.
I am, yeah. I'm actually going real this season, just for the record, everybody.
I love it. Dimitri, you got any questions on your end?
I do, yeah, lots. So let's just pick one out here. Okay, great. So, hi, at home with James. My name is Ulla from Denmark. Sorry,
that's cool.
Talking
name.
About Ulla from Denmark. Yeah, you're talking about going national. The show is branching out. It's awesome. I watch the show whenever I can, and it always brings a smile to my face. My question for you is simple. We know what happens when the camera is on, but what happens when it's off? I've heard stories of what happens when the show ends, but are the legends true? The fans are simply left with that incredible theme song and credits, but I hear you and the guests have a great time afterwards. What happens after that? Thanks, Ulla, a curious fan.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting question. What happens when the show goes off the air? Well, we sit on Zoom for a little bit, Ulla, depending on the day. We chat a little bit. Maybe a couple off-color remarks are made. Is that fair to say, Mr. Kyres?
Yeah. I mean, we have a good time in the chat afterwards. We usually talk about the show, how it went.
Dippin leaves immediately. He just leaves immediately.
Yeah. So some people do leave immediately, and they don't want to chat. We're not naming names.
Well, I did.
Yes, but you did. I tend to stick on. I know when I finish the show, the first thing I do is usually take off whatever I'm wearing. If it was a costume or something like that, I go get some water. Maybe I go get a snack, and then I come in, and then we,
Yeah, I run to the washroom. Sometimes I take a sip of water as well. I come back and I say, yeah, it was a great show, guys. And I feel like we're spoiling the magic here. We're pulling the curtain back and showing people how the sausage gets made.
That's okay.
Fortunately, the answer is not particularly interesting.
Well, don't hold on a minute here, because you mentioned about going to the washroom. Now, don't mean to spill the beans here too much here, there, James, but you always go to the washroom after the show. I have never not seen you go to the washroom after the show.
Yeah, well, sometimes I'm full of water, some type of soda pop, maybe a coffee. I'll tell you what, I drank a Guru energy drink before this show. I feel really good.
A Guru energy drink? I've seen those. I've seen a few of those. So
I'm gonna have to. So this, Ulla, what's gonna happen is when the show goes off the air, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I'm gonna take a tinkle. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be a sweetie and wipe the seedy if I sprinkle when I tinkle.
Yeah, I've seen that in your washroom. It's one of your.
Yeah, I have a few novelty signs hanging in my bathroom.
One day you're gonna have to do kind of like an MTV Cribs type of thing for your apartment, because I do get quite a few mails in here about like, what does James's place look like, because we only get a corner of it and we only just get really a sliver of who you are and what did your den look like, So anyway, we're gonna have to do that at some point, but this feels like one of those questions, Ulla, where your imagination was way better than our answer to this question.
Well, look, they want the truth from the behind the scenes, and we're giving it to them. I got another question over here.
Shoot,
Dimitri. So this one comes in from, this is a question from Twitter.
Oh.
This comes in from @DB Improviser.
Okay.
DB Improviser. Okay.
I think I've seen that name before. Yeah.
Yeah. So this person writes,
Hey, DB.
"Hi, let's cut the cheese right now.
Whoa.
You know who I am. I've emailed countless times over the course of the past year and a half." I don't think he's using the term "cut the cheese" properly.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, DB Improviser goes on to say, "I've struggled something fierce to get answers as to why my computer, internet, and Wi-Fi connection, streaming capabilities, or lack thereof, continue to lead me down a pathway of disservice, specifically when I'm trying to stream high-definition adult entertainment." Well, I know who this is now. This person has emailed us a lot. Goes on to say, I had to take a long, hard look at myself in the mirror and do some soul searching. I decided that my internet problems were a sign from a higher source. Recently, I made the decision to step away from the glare of my computer screen before 2 a.m. I got into bed, opened up my nightstand drawer, and noticed the good book staring back at me. I was so enthralled with the words as they bounced off of the page. That's when I made the decision that I would stop by the house that the Lord built until I heard the name Axel Hunter. I had to make the decision whether to listen to the voice from above or the moans from below. I'll let you guess which one I veered towards. Dimitri, I understand that you have the inside track on Mr. Hunter and his depraved events.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I need to quench my unrelenting thirst that my poor internet connection has left me with. Anyways, let me know. That's at DB_improviser. That's a Twitter question.
That's a Twitter question?
Yeah, it was a lot of characters. He might be using Twitter Blue, the new
that's,
tier. Yeah.
That was
that's limitless tweet. Yeah,
that's like, because otherwise that's like a 15-16 thread comment there. That's
oh yeah.
Well, first and foremost, it's good to hear from you, and ultimately, your mail's always valuable here at Home with James, and we will get to it obviously in a timely manner, and I think we always get to your questions, DB. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because I didn't appreciate your kind of aggressive tone off the top. First and foremost, I'm very happy to hear that you found a higher power, and I'm even happier to hear that higher power is Axel Hunter. I've been outspoken about my love for Axel Hunter and his depraved ways. He's a fetish play event planner and ass conductor, and I'm really happy that people are getting more exposed to that in general. What can I say about Axel that hasn't already been said on this show? A lot. He's a multifaceted entertainer and event planner. If you want me to get in contact, DB, I could very much put that together. He's a very welcoming person, and ultimately, he's very warm to people who haven't experienced this life before. So I'm happy to see that you're moving away from the screen and into, the realities of pleasure, if I may be so crude,
Well, that wasn't crude at all, but all right, so at DB_improviser, I hope that helps. Dimitri, you got another question on tap?
Yes, I do. Here we go. What's up, At Home with James? My name is Bronwyn, and I had a question. As a seasoned man of a certain age, you've probably seen it all. I think he's talking to you. Being around Bronwyn, wow. Being around cool customers like wrestlers and improvisers must have taken a toll, but also peppered you with so much experience. I'll cut to the chase. Getting back to school.
Oh, I think that's probably what DB mentioned.
Yeah,
it's not all cut the cheese, all cut to the chase.
Yeah, it's all cut to the chase. This is, okay. I'll cut to the chase. Getting back to school is tough. My friends are either smokers, dopers, ballers, or shot callers. They feel so cool. They have it all figured out. My question is, as a cool guy yourself, what do you think is cool that other people might think is not cool? Maybe I can make that my new thing. Thanks, James.
Well, that's a great question from Bronwyn. What do I think that's cool that other people don't think is cool? I would say a lot of my musical taste people would not conventionally say is cool. I listen to a lot of gold rock, as I would call it. Some people disparage me by calling it dad rock.
Oh yeah.
So I would say a lot of the music that I listen to that maybe would be cool to teenagers from, let's say, 1965 to 1979, they would think it's cool. Mm-hmm. But I would say that more current people would not say that it's cool.
Cool. So I mean, like, it's tough to kind of make a personality around like music, for example. Maybe like what Bronwyn is looking here is like, I'm wondering if what's something on your daily basis, or you see people do, or the way people act, or something like that could maybe be construed as pretty cool. Because I agree that listen to that music, it's true, can definitely make a personality. But
I think the music that I listen to is almost and why I think it's cool and frankly, that I don't care that other people think is cool. That sort of exemplifies what I feel it means to be cool is you do your thing, do whatever you want. Don't care if people like what you like. You shouldn't care what other people like. Do whatever you want. If people like what you like and think it's cool, that's great. If people don't like it and think it's lame, who cares? Tell them to go sit on it and twist. Tell them to fly a kite. Tell them to walk into a lake. Tell them to suck on an egg. Say, hey, you like what you like. Guess what? I'm going to go to bed and never think about what you like. I'm going to go to my bed, put my head on the pillow, think about how I want to wake up in the morning. I want to fire up some rock and roll music.
Well said, James. My answer for Bronwyn is rollerblading. So that's all I have for now. But we can move on to we can move on.
Well, we're gonna check in later on. We got some more questions. We're gonna go to our first and only guest of the night.
Hey, love this guest. I've got a lot to get to behind me, so I'll filter out a couple more mails over here, James, and we'll touch base in a few.
Awesome. That sounds good. That's Dimitri Kyres. What an opening segment. 38 minutes long. Some people might think, oh, it's a long around the tooth. It's my show. Do whatever I like. I know that there's some people out there that might be like, wait, there's only 2 guests tonight. 1, if you're really looking at officially. But this upcoming guest is the perfect segue from our previous question about what it means to be cool. Now, I walk around town. St. Henry, best neighborhood in Montreal. I feel like a pretty cool guy. But when I'm in the presence of this person, I feel that my cool meter plummets to a chilly -1. So without any further ado, she is back to tell us everything about what it means to be cool. With some examples, as always, is Cathy Fagan. Cathy, how's it going?
Hey, James.
Now, I'm noticing that you've got some music tonight. Was that a special request?
I didn't request anything. That's the kind of music that follows me.
Wow. So you just get followed by hardcore guitar, rock and roll riffs?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Cathy, what's been going on since we last spoke? Anything cool happen to you?
I moved to St. Henry. That's one thing that's cool.
Okay. So I'm not incorrect in saying that St. Henry is the coolest neighborhood. You moved here.
We're just turning up the temp.
Turning up the temp. Okay. So you're saying that you brought the cool meter up a couple notches with your presence in the neighborhood.
It's a work in progress, James. You don't become super cool overnight.
All right. So for people who are wondering, maybe some tips on what it means to be cool before we get to your examples, Cathy, what would you tell people who are looking to be cool that just can't quite make it happen?
Just stop caring so much.
Well, that's exactly what I said. It's making me feel I've got a good idea here. What's that now, Cathy? I apologize.
I think Dimitri had it right with the rollerblading as well.
Okay.
If you're good at it. If you're good at it.
So, but what about if you're bad at it, but you don't care?
Don't be shitty at anything.
Okay. So in order to be cool, it means be good at the thing that you do.
Yeah.
Do you rollerblade, Cathy?
Nope.
Have you ever?
Nope, and I won't. Because I don't want to face that period of time where you just got to be shit. If you're going to be shit, do it in private. Where are you gonna rollerblade in private?
Okay, well, that's a good idea. Now, you mentioned the idea of kind of that awkward transition of being bad at something before you get good. What about when you're trying to grow your hair out and you have that awkward phase? That's pretty uncool.
I don't have awkward phases.
Ever?
Never.
Wow. Now, there's probably some people watching right now that are wondering, Cathy, how in the hell do you do it? Now, you mentioned not caring what people think. What else?
I want to bring it back just a second, James, because I'm wondering what kind of hair you got going under that cap.
Okay, well, it's a pretty normal short haircut. Would you like me to remove my hat?
Yeah, are you going through an awkward phase? You trying to grow it
No,
out?
I'm not. No, I just got well, maybe it is an awkward phase. I just got my hair cut not too long ago. So it's like a pretty like a normal guy haircut, but it's kind of short on top, you know? What do you think?
Pretty cool.
You think it looks cool, Cathy?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Should I get a little bit scruffier on top, kind of like a high and tight?
Stop caring.
Stop caring. Well, it's just more of an advice, right? This is almost like you were what an advice columnist would be in Reader's Digest to this show, but you're a cool expert.
Yeah, but we don't talk about Reader's Digest. Reader's Digest is not cool.
You're right. Okay, Reader's Digest, not cool. You are here to tell us things that are cool. So every time you're here, you bring a couple examples. I'm really excited to see what you brought this week. Now, last time you were here, there were all things that were scary cool that included a scary cool prank of feces all over a toilet seat.
I left the feces out of this one, James.
All right. So you're saying that what was cool then is not cool now?
It's just you got to cater to your audience. Some people just aren't ready for it.
All right. So you're saying the viewers of the show not ready for fecal-based imagery?
That's correct.
All right. So that's a pretty cool idea to get people who are of a certain audience and cater their taste. I think that's a great idea. Well, let's go to the first image. I'm really excited for this one, Cathy. How are you going to tee this one up? What are we about to see that is everything that is cool?
This first one, I need to see it before I comment on it.
All right. Well, it should be on screen any moment now. I would have assumed that you had perhaps a private document of your own images that you sent to our technical director.
No, preparation. Preparation is uncool.
Preparation's uncool. Well, we've got our first image. This is we've got a chair against a white backdrop.
Yes. Furnished apartments are very cool.
All right. Well, this doesn't seem particularly furnished in this photo. This is one chair in a room.
Minimalism.
Oh,
James. The furnished apartment.
okay. So a minimalized furnished apartment where you'd move in and there's maybe only a couple things that includes one trendy. This is very much a grown-up chair. This is a chair that someone who's successful and doesn't make their living in the business of improv would own.
Mm-hmm. And they just sit on it and they think to make decisions. They make their decision-making process as efficient as possible.
Okay.
So they only have one type of clothing that they wear, so they don't even have to think about what they're putting on in the morning.
Okay, so just living a minimalist lifestyle, minimalist clothing, and minimalist furnished home.
And minimalist decision-making.
Okay. It sounds like a pretty easy way of life. Not a lot of decisions to be made, whether it's clothes or your own life.
Mm-hmm.
Cathy, you make any important decisions recently?
I decided to buy a couch.
It's very cool. Well, let's move on to the next image now that we're locked in on this minimalist way of life. We're here, we're live on Twitch, and this is a picture now of Jeff Goldblum. Cathy, would you care to explain?
The number two, James. The number two thing that is cool of this presentation I have for you today
is the number. So we're starting from coolest to least cool.
There's no hierarchy of cool here.
Okay, but you said number two.
Yeah, this is because it's the second image.
Right. Okay.
Not right. The second image is representative of the concept of being attractive. Being attractive is cool.
Okay, so am I to understand that you think Jeff Goldblum is attractive?
Jeff Goldblum is conventionally attractive.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out in my brain here. So Jeff Goldblum is conventionally attractive. Are you saying that you find him attractive, or do you mean conventionally is from a societal standpoint?
I don't chase.
Okay, so if you were to see Jeff Goldblum out in the wild, as they say, you would not pursue him. You would want Jeff Goldblum to pursue you.
I don't know if I'd want him to pursue me, but I would allow for him
to try.
Yeah.
All right. So again, do you think that Jeff Goldblum is attractive? That's what I'm trying to figure out here.
I don't know, James. What do you think?
Are you asking me, do I think he's attractive, or do I think that you think he's attractive?
Answer it whatever way you want.
I would say that I could see why people find him attractive, but he doesn't stand out to me as one of Hollywood's hot guys.
I think you're wrong.
Okay, so does that mean that you think Jeff Goldblum is hot? Okay, well, let me ask a couple follow-up questions. What do you think about his flagrantly unbuttoned shirt?
Pretty cool.
His necklace?
Little uncool.
Sunglasses that aren't totally dark.
Pretty cool.
Well, what about the fact that he's kind of a silver fox now? He doesn't have, this is an old picture of Jeff Goldblum, by the way.
Let me ask you something, James.
Okay.
Who is Jeff Goldblum married to?
I'm not quite sure. Do you have the answer?
No, and it's very cool that you don't know.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Cathy, I don't know a lot about pop culture or celebrities. Is that cool?
Yep.
Awesome. Would you say you're on the up and up when it comes to celebrity facts and affairs?
I'm not interested in the things that I am. I'm baking a single cookie.
That was the all-time greatest non sequitur in the history of this show. How are you making the single cookie while you're on this show?
With my oven.
Wait. Are you? It's cooking right now?
Yep.
How long has it been in for?
10 minutes.
How long is it going to be in for?
It's done.
Okay, so is it still in the oven? Oh my goodness. Is that a Pillsbury pre-cut Christmas cookie?
It's a pumpkin.
Well, it's a pumpkin and it's just floating in front of the Zellers. Now, Cathy, would you be willing to take a bite live on the air?
It'd be really hot, James.
The moment you said that that's really hot, when this segment is making me briefly uncomfortable, and it's been a long time since I've been uncomfortable on this show.
I mean, it just came out of the oven.
I know that was the thing. I know, but it was just the way that it was said that really it threw me through a loop. Cathy, let's move on to our next image. So we'll say goodbye to Jeff Goldblum. Cathy, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
We've got our next image here. Now, this looks like you took a screen capture because some of the download and visual options are still available. This is a guy giving 2 thumbs up. Cathy, take us through what this is and why it's cool.
So, James, the next thing I want to talk about is being flexible.
Okay. You mean literally or figuratively with your mindset?
Figuratively, being flexible.
Okay.
Your friend calls you up, hey, you want to go to the movies tonight? You were going to sit at home, watch your favorite episode of whatever you watch. And then you say, oh, well, I had plans, but I'll come.
Okay, so not only is it being flexible, it's breaking plans to make new plans.
Breaking your own plans.
Breaking your own plan. Well, what about breaking plans you have with someone else? Is that cool?
That's not cool. Flaking?
Okay, so breaking your own plans where you would have spent the night by yourself to have some fun with some friends and companions.
That's correct.
So, Cathy, would you say that if someone called you up after this show is over and said, hey, Cathy, what's going on? Do you want to hang out? Let's go shoot some pool at the bar. Would you do it?
Yeah, I said I'd come.
You'd say you'd come to the pool, the literal pool party?
Yep, I come to the pool party.
Awesome. Okay, so you practice what you preach.
I practice what I preach, James, always.
Now, Cathy, I've played pool with you. Do you remember this?
I remember, James.
Now, this was the night before the world changed. This was the Wednesday before the Thursday of COVID. Now, I don't recall that you were a great pool player.
James, I think you got it wrong.
What's this voice you've begun taking on? I think you've got it wrong. You sound like a character out of Roadhouse.
I'm not thinking about how I speak, James.
All right.
This is how I talk.
you're saying that I don't remember that you were good at pool?
Yeah. You don't remember how good I was.
Well, I remember that I ate a particularly hot jalapeno, and I tried to order a glass of milk, and they said that they didn't serve milk.
I'm very happy that they didn't serve you milk, because that is not an establishment I'd ever want to go to again.
Well, I'll tell you what, Cathy, I used to buy glasses of milk at the bar when I first moved to Montreal. I thought this is a kind of a funny idea.
Somebody in the comments just said milk is not cool.
Well, how about
I
this?
agree.
I'm going to up the ante. Cathy, I purchased a glass of milk at a gentleman's club once.
Why?
Well, I figured that it was an order. The way that you asked that was very, really took me off course. I thought it would be a funny drink to order. And I thought if I was going to spend $8 or $9 on a Coca-Cola, what's the difference?
James.
Yeah.
Keep those kind of stories to yourself.
Yeah, that's some cool advice right here in the chat. Thomas Barnwell writes, quote, sick fetish. All right, so being flexible, very cool. Cathy, how many more images do we have?
We got one more, James.
Got one more. So this is the main event in no particular order. Something else that is very cool, according to Cathy Fagan. Right here, we've got, this looks like a logo that says super deal with, again, another thumbs up.
Good deals, sales,
So discounted items.
discounted items. Ones
Right.
you're not seeking out. You're not looking through the flyers for discounted items, but you happen across them.
Yeah. Now, Cathy, I noticed you keep veering out of frame. What's going on over there? what's this?
I'm baking.
Oh, is your computer beside your oven? Are you baking another single? What are we looking at here? It just says 900, 9,000? Is this a
This is supposed to be a HelloFresh coupon.
Okay, so am I to understand that did you make a discounted purchase recently? This is going to be giving someone a seizure any minute now. Have you purchased any discounted items as of late, Cathy?
I bought my couch off someone on Kijiji.
And what about those? You bought some pumpkin cookies. Those must have been discounted. Those are Halloween cookies.
the last tenant left them here for me.
You're eating someone's leftover food? Well, Cathy, when the shh is happening, that means it's time to wrap things up. Any last thoughts for the people who are looking to really crank up their cool meter this holiday season?
Just play it safe out there.
Look,
Don't get too invested in Christmas.
All right. Well, Cathy, I get pretty invested in Christmas.
James, you revealed too much on this episode.
All right. Well, I'm very sorry to have made you or any of the viewers uncomfortable, whether it be yeah, there we go. Cathy, thanks so much for being here, and I hope you have a very cool evening. And if you're playing if you're playing pool later tonight, good luck. I guess you're better than I remember you being.
Bye, James.
Take it easy, Cathy. That's Cathy Fagan, the #1 expert on being cool on At Home with James. Folks, we're going to be back this coming Wednesday, live right here on Twitch at 9:00 p.m. Who's going to be here? Andy Asaf and Raquel Belmonte, all of that, and so much more. Tell your mom, dad, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, Grammy, Grampy. Tell your best friend or even your worst enemy to tune in. Live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or perhaps 6 o'clock Pacific Time. Let's move on to our final segment of the night as we wrap things up with more of your questions as part of Mailbag Monday. Let's welcome Dimitri Kyres back to the show. Dimitri, you've been scouring through the mailbags and you've sent in some good stuff.
I'm exhausted. Most of this stuff is anthrax.
Well, maybe you put on your COVID mask as a safety measure.
Yeah, I should. But a lot of really great stuff in here, James. Honestly, you have the best fans in the world, and I really do mean
That's
that.
kind of you to say.
Yeah, really the best fans. But yeah, I managed to scour through here, and yeah, found a couple more for us to go through here before we call it a night. Should we jump right in?
Yeah, sure. Do you have one?
I do. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, here we go. This should be good. Oh. Hey there, James. Do you believe in miracles? My name is Suzanne, and I'm wondering if you believe in magic. Holiday magic. Oh. Sure, it's just some silly thing in bad Hallmark movies, but I'm all out of options. I work a crummy job, I'm far away from home, I don't speak French, and my apartment is cold. I've wished upon a star, and something strange happened. My TV suddenly navigated to your program. You mentioned just now, if someone loves you. And that spoke to me. James, I think you're my holiday miracle? What would it take? What would it take?
This is like a Hallmark movie inside of a Hallmark movie.
What would it take for you to take a chance on a lady of a certain age like me? Looking for some holiday fun and magic, best, Suzanne. Now, this is the weird thing, James, because, like I said, I was scouring behind here.
Yeah.
This one just blew in from the only window that I have in the basement here at the offices.
I'm wondering what she
means. On top of the pile.
I'm wondering what this Suzanne means, a lady of a certain age.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that could mean anything. I mean, but you know.
Well, let's as DB _improviser would say, let's just cut the cheese right now. This has been a topic of conversation on this show a multitude of times. That I would say that it's an unfortunate rumor that I have a penchant for dating older women.
Is it a rumor?
Yeah, I think it's a rumor. Yes, I think it's a rumor.
That's still a rumor.
Yeah, well, it seems like this Suzanne was maybe watching an episode where it was discussed that I date older women.
I just didn't know it was still a rumor. I just thought that was something that was established.
Well, does it say how old Suzanne is?
It doesn't specify, no.
But would I take? Look, if you're nice, you're nice.
Yeah.
You're nice, right?
I don't know what the issue is. It's just I just figured that was your type.
Yeah, well, I would say Suzanne. Look, if I would say I'm a classic type of person. I like to take things slow on you. Just keep watching the show, and maybe if it really is a holiday miracle, we'll cross paths this year. Maybe at Plaza des Arts, they're setting up their Christmas village again, or somewhere.
James, that's not very Christmas miracle of you.
Well, what do you think I should do, Dimitri?
I think you should go to a small town with her and see what happens. Take a plunge. Do something wild.
So you're saying I should meet up with this stranger and take a little trip to Saint Sauveur?
Yeah, why not? Get snowed in somewhere. One of you is an artist and the other is a real by-the-books accountant. And you hate each other.
Oh, so we have to get off? You just want this to be a Hallmark movie?
No, I want you to fall in love. But I also want you to meet her parents, and they don't like you.
Well, if she's a woman of a certain age, I'm not sure her parents are still with us.
So you agree it's not just a rumor?
No, I'm saying that if she is a woman of a certain age, I'm not sure if the chances are good that I'll be meeting her parents.
Well,
they might be as we say on the other side.
Well, then you have something in common.
Isn't it important when you're with someone, you have something that you can bond over? That's a Hallmark movie, right? Two people with deceased parents fall in love over the holiday season. Let's move on to our next question. This one comes in from, this is absolutely from an older woman. This question comes in from Sylvia, and she's writing from Melrose in NDG. I know Sylvia. It goes as follows. Hello, James and Dimitri. It's me, Sylvia. You might remember me from my many calls into the show, specifically to your friend, David Kaufman. Let's just say I've been thinking about him. Between this girl and you two guys, I noticed David getting into his car from my window last week.
Sylvia.
As I saw him drive off, I wondered, well, let's just say, what would it be like if I could take David for a ride? Now, I understand that he's a married man, but are we really going to let life's simple pleasures be prohibited by a ring or courthouse documents? Could something that feels so right be so wrong? Dimitri, I'm sure you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, Sylvia.
Well, apparently, you're on the same track as Sylvia. She goes on to write, I'm wondering, would either of you happen to have any intel on what it would take to get David to, well, let's just say, cheat on his wife? His interests, his turn-ons? What gets his engine revving? Erotically yours, Sylvia.
Erotically yours? All right, well...
So the question is, can we give Sylvia tips on how she can seduce Dave so he can cheat on his wife? Well,
Listen,
Dave, or excuse me, Dimitri, you know what she's talking about.
I know what she's talking about. I'm not quite sure I know what she's talking about,
Well,
but...
I think the implication is that you may have taken a woman who is already with another.
I'm not familiar.
You committed the robbery, Dimitri?
I have never committed a robbery. I've never committed a robbery at any point.
Well, it says clearly here, she says, quote, Dimitri, I'm sure you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like I'm sure you know what I'm. There's a lot of assumption in there.
Well, there's no assumption on my part.
I'm not aware if that's the case. Listen.
Okay, well, we'll cut the cheese right here.
Yeah.
Dimitri, do you have any advice for Sylvia on how she can seduce Dave into having an affair?
I mean,
because I'm going to sit here and say no. I'm not going to give any advice because I don't think he's going to do it. But the holidays are coming up and miracles happen.
Miracles happen, you know. And here's the thing, I took a Hippocratic oath, obviously, when I took Mailbag Mondays on.
Did you say a Hippocratic oath?
I took the Hippocratic oath, yeah.
Right.
And that's always to do good by the Mailbag, but also to do good by my fellow, tech team, which David is a part of. So yeah. I feel a little torn right here. I want to make sure that I give the best answers possible.
Tech team be damned, we're friends, right?
Tech team be damned, we're friends, but also my Hippocratic oath to Mailbag Mondays, which is that I need to give good advice.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, Sylvia, have you ever thought about getting into crypto?
Okay, so David is very much an enthusiast of cryptocurrency. So you're saying that if Sylvia were to try, and we're not endorsing that,
no,
he could try to perhaps enjoy some of his interests that include cryptocurrency.
And I'm just spitballing here, Sylvia. I can't believe what I'm about to say, but everybody's coming up with cryptocurrency these days. What's stopping you from coming up with a Sylvia coin? Getting Dave to invest all his money into it, and then you've got him where you want him. Listen, you didn't hear that from me.
Yeah. Well, it's our little secret.
It's our little secret, and I can't believe I just said that.
As you were saying that, Dimitri, I kept being distracted. In our production chat, Devin is writing, and again, we can only see the production chat.
Oh,
Devin writes, "Be a man, Dave. If you don't do it, I will." All right. Well. Let's move on to our next question. Dimitri, I think you've got one teed up.
I do. Yeah, this one was really interesting, James. Came in a black envelope, and a bit of a texture to it.
Serious.
Yeah. Good evening, James. I've heard a lot about you, my delicious friend. You are an interesting man to find. Your friends love you, your followers would die for you, and your lovers will take no other. I see you. I see you and I need you. The night beckons you, Nightman. You are a creature of pleasure. The night beckons you, Nightman. You are a creature of pleasure, depraved and left wanting. The harbinger of sex, the second coming, and the third, and the fourth. Endless. At this point in time, I believe you know who I am. Oh, yeah.
I've got a hunch.
Axel Hunter. Fetish play event planner and ass conductor. And And I come to you on the precipice of this engorged holiday season with a question.
Oh.
How far will you go? When will pleasure be enough? Will you don the Nightman crown?
Yeah, I don't know what this Nightman thing means.
How deep will you go?
Oh.
Stew on this while I deliver you an offer. Listen close. Be mine. Be the centerpiece at my latest event.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the idea of this centerpiece.
You will be the guest of Boner.
You know, this he's a real wordsmith, but I feel like he just replaced the word honor with boner.
It's quite clever. I will be eagerly awaiting your reply. Don't
Eagerly or eagerly?
Eagerly.
So EAGLY?
Why?
Like an eagle?
Eagerly awaiting your reply. Don't disappoint.
Okay, so again, you've got an inside track with Axel Hunter, who is a purveyor of perversion.
Oh yes, the
and
best.
I understand you've actually booked him to appear on this show. Axel Hunter is going to be a guest.
This must be why he's coming. He obviously sees something in you, James. I think he's coming to come pick you up.
I think that perhaps he sees some mystery, because I've always kind of likened myself as, and this is again, maybe not, and Cathy might have something to say about this. People probably wouldn't call this a cool nickname. I've often considered myself Montreal's least erotically inclined man.
And I think he sees that.
Right.
And he thinks there's something untapped there.
It sounds like I'm hard to get for Axel Hunter.
I think exactly. I think everything, for Axel, he's a man who gets what he wants. He's an entity, honestly, that gets what they want. So I think that you kind of holding out for this long, it could be the linchpin here,
Well, I'll say this, Axel Hunter, if you're watching, you plead your case when you're going to be on the air. From what I understand, you'll be here in December. So, look, make your case and we'll take it from there.
Don't take this invitation lightly, James. Not a lot of people get to be the centerpiece of one of Axel's parties. That is a coveted position.
Well, I'll say this mailbag tonight has been real sleazy.
I was going to say, and we've talked about this at length before, about the holiday season being sexy. Is it not?
Well, we determined last year during our debate that it was not.
They're going to call you the Winky Yahoo at this event, James, if you decide to go.
Well, let's move on to another question.
Why?
Why's that?
Because you might get slimed. Let's move on to the last one.
Yeah, let's please move on. This is our last question of the night?
Yeah, this is the last question, last mailbag. Whew.
Okay, so, okay, I get it. So, this question comes in from Dimitri Kyres from Allenwood, New Jersey. Hello, my name is Dimitri Kyres. No, not the one who is on the show with you right now. Allow me to explain. Recently, I did what many people do when they are bored. I did a quick Google search of my own name. I was shocked and dismayed to discover that there were 0 results found in respect to me. When I say 0, I'm not kidding. Absolutely no reference to me whatsoever. I did, however, find many results for the Dimitri Kyres who appears on this show. I understand that you are an actor, performer, and writer, among other things. I would like to make a proposition to Dimitri.
Okay.
Could you please change your name? I know that this might be an unreasonable request, but hear me out. You are making me and many of the other Dimitri Kyreses look inferior. I'm not asking for a drastic change. Here are some suggestions that I would recommend, that I would appreciate that you would consider. And he goes on to, here's a variety of names.
Sure, yeah, let's hear some names.
Damian Kyres, Dimitri Keelers, Dexter Krieger, Dennison Kelger, Dawson Creek.
I like that they're keeping the initials because they know that that's the hardest part to change.
Diego Kellogg's, Declan Crane, Dracula Kevlar, And finally, oh God,
What is it, James?
Desmond Queef. And the end of the email just reads, please.
Please.
Yes. So, Dimitri, I guess you're
What?
making Dimitri Kyres feel bad.
I didn't even know there were any of us out there.
Any of these names stand out to you? Would you like to hear them again?
I would like to hear them one more time, yeah.
Take me through what you think about some of these names. We've got Damien Kyres.
I don't feel myself...
Sounds like someone that would hang out with Axel Hunter.
Exactly. Damien, I immediately get like Omen vibes, and I'm not a creepy guy. I don't think I'm quite dark and moody in any sort of way, and Damien is very evocative of that, so no.
Dimitri Kyres.
Yeah, Dimitri Kyres sounds like some kind of associate, technician at like a tech startup.
Right.
And for me, Keelers is it's a bit of a wimpy flutter on an already strong name, Kyres. So I'm gonna go no.
What about Dexter Krieger?
Dexter Krieger is the bad guy from any kind of action movie that I like, but he's not the main bad guy. Dexter Krieger is like the guy who's making the virus for the bad guy, and he gets blown away instantly.
This is where things start to take a turn. Dennison Kelger.
Yeah, Dennison Kelger.
Yeah, Kelger.
Yeah, Dennison? Kelger's not the thing that's bothering me. It's Dennison that's really freaking me out off the top. I'm not sure that's a real name.
What about Dawson Creek, spelled Kreek?
Yeah, that's quite clever. So that one's pretty high up there, honestly, because I think it's a unique spin on it, and I like the Creek is spelled with K, and they maintain the initials there.
Now, what about Diego Kellogg's?
I like Diego Kellogg's. That's maybe my 2 right now.
All right. And Declan Crane.
Yeah, Declan Crane is my
a bit of an Irish name.
Yeah, Declan Crane is my number 1 right now. He seems like a proficient darts player.
Now, what about Dracula Keflar? Keflar.
Yeah, that's like what I would name my online persona for a video game. So I'm gonna go no.
And then finally, Desmond Queef, spelled Kweef.
Oh yeah. Desmond, was it?
Correct.
It's a no for me, James.
Well, to the Dimitri Kyres who wrote us from Allenwood, New Jersey, we apologize. Our Dimitri is going to keep his name. Dimitri, that's it. We went through the entire mailbag.
Woo! What am I going to do with the rest of these? I guess just, my house is going to get pretty cold this winter, so, I might need the extra warmth, but
we're gonna do this again. So if you didn't have your letter read on the air tonight, hang in there. We promise we're gonna get to all of these eventually.
I need help to sort all this, James, but we'll get through it another time.
We'll get through it. Dimitri, stick around. We'll sign off together here. I want to thank Cathy Fagan for being here once again, letting us know what it truly means to be cool. I want to thank all of the people who are watching tonight. Your commitment to this program that never will ever go away truly astounds me. I appreciate it. Dimitri, any final thoughts tonight? Of course, we want to thank the people that mailed in.
Thanks, everybody, for mailing in. This show has a very, very special place in my heart, James, and I love when we get to do these mailbags because we get to hear from the audience that honestly make this show happen because, of course, we perform for the audience, James. Otherwise, there would be no show, right?
That's exactly right, folks. That's Dimitri Kyres. I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and of course, be well.